Whistle. Need a whistle.
When you look at head coaches in the NFL, what is the first thing that comes to mind? Is it success? Leadership? Maybe attitude? Well, what has gone unnoticed to some is that there are only 3 black head coaches in the National Football League. In this video, I will make you aware of some issues that have taken place when hiring diverse head coaches. Mike Tomlin is a current African American head coach for the Pittsburgh Steelers. He has won a Super Bowl and owns a career record of 154, 87, and 1. He is a modern-day example of a black head coach thriving in today's NFL.
You know, I don't know if it is at the time, but I know that the results are. You know, if you're looking for guys who are coordinators, there's examples of that. If you want a guy that's a proven, capable leader, there's Jim Caldwell and Marvin Lewis. There's guys like Todd Bowles and Raheem Morris and others. They're capable examples of minority candidates no matter what the profile.
These are some examples of NFL coaches who have not been given a second chance to lead a team. However, we have seen other non-diverse candidates receive many do-overs.
It's wondersome. I guess that's the word I would use. It makes you question it. You just had Bruce Arians have another opportunity and win the Super Bowl. It's great, but he's obviously a few years older than even I am. But he gets that second opportunity.
The NFL implemented the famous Rooney Rule in 2003, where each organization is required to interview at least one diverse candidate when hiring a new head coach. One qualified candidate is Kansas City Chiefs offensive coordinator Eric Bieniemy, who has been considered as the next great coach in the NFL, but he has not been given a chance to prove it.
Also in that interview, he said that Andy Reid has been every Andy Reid offensive coordinator over the last 2 decades has basically gotten a head coaching job with Andy calling the plays. Only now with Eric Bieniemy in position to get a head coaching job is that used against Eric Bieniemy. Matt Nagy got a head coaching job and he did not call the plays. Doug Peterson got a head coaching job and he did not call the plays. But nobody held that against him, but it's seemingly being held against Eric Bieniemy. So I agree with Mike Tomlin.
The sad truth about what's just happened is that what's Eric up to now? I think it's 14 interviews for 13 jobs. Mm-hmm. Well, you know how the sheepthink works in this league, and I think a lot of owners are sitting back saying, uh-oh, wait a minute. He's had 14 interviews and never landed a head coach job. There's got to be something wrong with him, and I think it transcends whether he called. I just think he got interviewed right out of getting a head coaching job because too many times he was brought in probably just to be the token Rooney Rule interview.
What makes this issue so pressing is the amount of success African American head coaches have had in the NFL. If you look back to the early 2000s, there have been many black coaches to appear in and win a Super Bowl title. In 2006, Indianapolis Colts head coach Tony Dungy went up against Chicago Bears head coach Lovie Smith in the first ever Super Bowl coached by 2 black coaches. Dungy would go on to win the Super Bowl and became the first African American head coach to win a Super Bowl. As I mentioned earlier, Mike Tomlin would be the next and the latest to do so. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers head coach Bruce Arians won the Super Bowl last season. He had 11 black coaches on his staff to help lead the Bucs to the promised land. However, none of them were hired by an NFL team in 2021. In a sport that is predominantly full of talented black athletes, the question goes back to why aren't more diverse candidates considered for head coaching jobs?
But the bottom line is this. African American coaches are in a system that reminds us a lot of Jim Crow, reminds us a lot of the civil rights era in this country, where you say to yourself, where if they're qualified, if they have experience, if guys are vouching for them, if they've done a good job and earned the possibility to be a head coach and earn the right, because no one is asking for anybody to give them anything, why are there only 3 of them?
This issue has been glorified over the last few seasons when talented coaches could not secure a head coaching job. The only step now is to become more aware of the issue in hopes that one day we will see equal opportunity.